family tour guide to the world. Hey, my name is Lucy Justine Shepline-Leff.
She is our announcer, and I'm Theo Shepline-Leff. This is my co-host.
Hi, I'm Melissa Shepline. Thanks for having me on today.
No problem. So we just came from Oahu, and we're now on the Big Island. It was lots of fun on Oahu. We got to see many amazing things that we're going to talk to you about, and things that are in our last episode. In this episode, we're going to have nature, then culture, then history, and then activities, and then food critic. But don't forget, in between history and activities, we're going to do a little surprise game. And if you're listening to the last episode, you would know. Lizzie, what's our first category?
Nature.
So we were very lucky.
Here on the Big Island.
Yeah, here on the Big Island. Is it Mount? What is it?
Well, that's a good question. I
Let's
haven't
just
seen
call
Mount.
it Volcano Kilauea erupted while we were here.
How much lava is that?
It's a lot of lava.
So it was its 51st episode, which is a nerdy way of saying eruption.
Yeah.
51 eruptions.
Well, and something I learned was that technically the eruption began in like 2024.
Oh, yeah.
But then it has like all these different like fountaining episodes where you see lava being put into the air, and that's what we saw. The 51st episode.
But there's been 51 in two years.
Yeah. And I think it happens every few weeks.
Crap.
Yeah, so we could have missed it, but we didn't. So what was it like? What did we see?
I don't know how high it was, but it was like very high. It was ginormous, and we began at this overlook that was across a big crater that is basically below it.
Well, actually, I would even say it started before that. Like on our drive into the national park. Like,
so it started,
Daddy's like, something's happening.
Yes, it was at 8:30. It started at 8:30 on what day?
Yesterday was July 15th.
July 15th.
And we noticed it at around 9, and we were just headed to the park anyways because I'd read that you should get there early to find parking. And we knew that this was probably going to happen, but we hadn't checked the website yet to see that it had just happened like a half an hour earlier.
Yeah.
And I mean, so I would say one of the things I thought was cool because we did this hike and we were basically staring at the the volcano for like 3 hours. We saw people brought their lawn chairs and just kind of camped out. It was insane. I mean, you're looking at it and there's just like fire being shot up into the air, and it was pretty amazing. Like, I was texting with a friend of mine.
7 Wonders of the World.
Who had been here a few years ago, and as she said, like, it made me believe in Pele. Do you remember who Pele is?
Number 10 who plays for Brazil?
No. Pele is the goddess of volcanoes and fire and known as the creator of the Hawaiian land.
If you think about it, it kind of makes sense for somebody to believe that there's tons of like melted rocks coming out of the earth, flying through the air, destroying towns. It kind of seems kind of logical that it's God doing it, especially back then when they didn't know like the sciences to it.
And then, you had the idea, Theo, that we should come back at night.
And that was really cool. So we came back at night in our rental car, and we went to the special overlook. And like by then the eruption had ended. And it was nighttime. And the magma was still hot. Lava, magma, whatever you call it.
Yeah, we could still see a red glow.
We could still see a red glow. Now we're going to move on to a waterfall that we saw.
Since we're in the nature category, we wanted to mention that we had the opportunity to visit a waterfall in the Waimea Valley, which is located on the north shore of Hawaii. And unfortunately, when we first got there, somebody was having a medical emergency, which this has now happened to us twice.
Yeah.
We had to wait for the EMTs to come, and fortunately the person looked to be okay, but
A little traumatized.
yeah. But then when we got to the waterfall, we got to go in. What did you think about swimming under a waterfall?
So unfortunately, I currently have an ear thing.
Oh
So
yeah, Theo got an ear infection.
Which makes it pretty hard to go underwater. I did break the rules and go into the waterfall a couple of times.
It's hard to say no when you're in
Nobody
Hawaii.
tell my doctor. I might get in trouble.
You did.
I did have an ear cover. It was pretty cool. Unfortunately, it's pretty hard to actually get under the waterfall
Yeah.
because it's also kind of instantly pushing you away. So that was really cool. We got to go through the water, and it was pretty cool. We have some footage that hopefully we can share with you of Lucy under the waterfall. I have to say, it's pretty adorable and kind of amusing.
We're going under the waterfall!
But now we're going to move
Our
on
next
to-
category,
which is
Culture!
yeah. So we're actually gonna work together on this one because it was a pretty big event. We went to a luau, which is traditional Hawaiian gathering.
Yeah. This luau had some activities beforehand where we
Yeah.
got to learn the hula.
Yeah.
And did you hula too?
Yes.
I did too. And we also got to see a cooking demonstration of some traditional foods over a fire. And then there was also a meal, and then there was a performance. And what was really cool about this luau, because we've researched a bunch of different ones, is that this is run by a family.
Yeah.
And you could really tell that because they had their family with them, including lots of children, who Lucy especially enjoyed hanging out with on a big field, just running around during the musical performances. What was your favorite part of the luau, Theo?
My favorite part of the luau was probably the food. Although that's probably not the right thing to say, because it wasn't really actual Hawaiian food.
Well, it was
They made delicious chicken.
barbecue chicken, and there was some pulled pork.
But
and-
then there was some, and there was a little Hawaiian aspect to the fruits that they served us.
True. There was some pineapple.
Yeah.
We all got to get some leis when we arrived. I really loved the drumming in the luau and the dancing, and then of course the fire.
Oh yeah, that was really cool.
Performances.
At the end, they did a 15-20 minute just thing where they took fire, swallowed it, played with it in their hands.
Do you think you could do that, Theo?
Seems simple enough. Lucy, what was your favorite part about the luau?
So I would say the fire.
What about
Fire
the friend that you
dance. She made me a little grass weaving, whatever
made?
thing.
Crown?
Yeah, kind of a grass
That was
crown.
really nice of her. It's like a weaved bunch of long grass strands.
What did you think? Did you like the music too? I think I saw
yeah.
you dancing a little bit.
Yeah, but don't say that.
Okay.
Okay.
Time to move on to
History.
for history. We went to the Bishop Museum
Yeah.
in Honolulu.
And I was really excited to go to this museum because I went to it once, 25 years ago, and found it very interesting to learn about Hawaiian history, and can I highlight a couple things I found interesting, Theo?
Sure.
Okay, so this is actually kind of more recent Hawaiian history. We learned about the different workers who immigrated to Hawaii to work in the sugar and pineapple plantations in the late 1800s. This helped lead to what we think of today as a lot of diversity here in Hawaii. There are people coming from China, from Portugal, Japan, the Philippines, Puerto Rico, and they would come and they would work. We did experience in our last episode, we talked a bit about the Chinatown that we visited in Honolulu. Mm-hmm. And Theo, you're going to talk a little bit about something that came out of all of those hundreds of thousands of workers coming from so many different countries that we learned about.
Yeah, so I'm going to talk about something called Hawaiian Pidgin. It's a language spoken by the people that came to work in the sugar and pineapple plantations. People from all over the globe.
They all speak different languages.
Yeah, they all speak different languages. So what they did was they took pieces of the English language and made their own. So one good example is on the door outside of our Airbnb. It says "Mahalo for removing your slippas." So
what are slippas?
Slippas, as you can imagine, are like shoes, sandals,
Flip-flops.
Slippers,
Flip-flops.
flip-flops. It's basically
One of the pidgin languages?
yeah, it's one of the
Words?
pidgin phrases, and it's pretty cool actually. They just created their own language basically.
Can producer Ben be a geek for a
Sure.
minute? I'll be quick. I mean, I think what's fascinating is it just shows humans' capacity for language. They can build a language from scratch. And
Yeah.
it has English words, it also has Japanese words and other words, but the thing is they made up a whole new grammatical structure. So for example, they take words like stay, and that makes something in the present tense, no matter what verb you're connecting it to. Going is to mark that a verb's in the future, so you'd say like, I'm going drink, to mean I'm going to drink in the future. And so they developed a whole new system with like familiar components, but it's like they organized the vocabulary building blocks in a completely different grammatical way, and it just shows what human communities are capable of creating language. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, so they have like their own grammar basically. So one thing that is also pretty interesting is how they did tattoos.
Yeah, so there was another part of the museum. We talked about sort of the 1800s and everything, but another big part of the museum was just about the Polynesian migration and how you can find aspects of Hawaiian culture and in other Polynesian cultures. And there was an exhibit on tattooing and, talking about how tattooing is, this sacred cultural practice. And
if you've watched Moana, lots of the people there have tattoos on them.
Good point. Yeah. And what I found really interesting was they had these tattooing instruments in the museum exhibit, and they were like made out of shell, and it actually looked like it might be quite painful.
I actually don't know what they use as like the ink, but they put something on the edge of like a sharp, like nail sometimes, like pointed edge.
Shell is what I saw, like a shell.
It could be a shell. Sometimes it's
a shell. I saw the exhibit.
Well, it might be a sharpened shell sometimes.
It wasn't a nail.
It could be a sharpened shell.
It was. They had
very
manipulated
sharpened
the shell. Yes.
So now we're going to move on to something that we like to call
Oldest to newest.
So that is the game where we take 3 things, and we try to figure out which one came first, which one came second, and which one came third.
Help us out. We're going to invite
Producer Ben.
And Lucy, come on over. So your job is to figure out, when did the Polynesian people first arrive on these islands? And so we're going to give you 3 islands, and you have to figure out what order they were settled by Polynesians. So Lucy, can you say the names of the 3 islands?
Hawaii, Tahiti, Tonga.
Hawaii, Tahiti, and Tonga.
Am I allowed to pull up a map?
Sure. I'll pull it up for you, but
All right.
you talk it out right now.
So, for me, seeing the map is going to be very important. Although I feel like it could be like cheating.
Well, we did learn that the first Polynesian people were who? Do you remember?
The people that went to New Zealand.
Yeah, the Maori.
The Maori.
So basically, if we just head north, west, I think Hawaii is going to be the most recent.
Yeah.
But I have to admit, I
So-
forget where Tonga is.
This should
Oh,
help us.
interesting.
So what are they again?
Well, there's Tonga, and then Tahiti is actually
Okay.
not on this map, which is very
It's
interesting.
Society Islands would be where
Oh, okay.
one of the Society Islands.
Oh.
So do we think
So if
Tonga
Tonga's
first?
down here,
Tahiti?
where's Society Island?
Right here.
So if Society Island is there,
And then do we
So-
think Hawaii?
Hawaii is fairly north. Which makes me
Yeah, northeast.
northeast. So I'm actually gonna say I think that Tonga came first and Tahiti came second.
Okay, so we hope that all of you out there are thinking about this too and coming up with your own answers. And we'll
Lucy-
reveal the answers at the end of the show.
So Lucy, what do you think it is?
I think it is Hawaii, Tonga, and Tahiti.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to our next category. We're almost done. We just have a couple more categories, which is...
Activities.
Thea, why don't you start us off with some memories of us hanging out on the north shore of Hawaii?
So we went to the Bonsai Pipeline on the North Shore.
And what's that?
It is a place on the North Shore.
Well, yeah, it's this crazy surfing area
Yeah. So it's a
where the
beach
waves can
on a
get as
surfing
high
board.
as like 30 feet.
35,
but
40 feet.
That's mostly in the winter
winter.
time.
So we came here during the summer, and it was still very impressive. Like the waves got up to like 7 feet maybe.
Yeah.
It was legit scary. Especially the ones that came crashing. Like that started crashing right when they were at your chest height.
Was I a little bit nervous?
Yeah, well Mom didn't go in, but she walked away at some points.
Well, I was nervous about you guys.
Yeah, but she knew that there was no chance of this coming out.
Well, but anyways, and also though, I had been on the North Shore again 25 years ago in February where the waves were pretty high. So, but I thought it was beautiful, certainly beautiful, and a lot of fun. And it was a little bit spontaneous. We just sort of pulled over for a little bit. We thought we weren't going to spend too long there. You guys weren't wearing your swimsuits. And you were like, we got to jump in the water. So you quickly changed and jumped in.
Yeah.
And then the other activity I'm going to mention is just that we had a fun boating day in Waikiki.
And we went snorkeling and jumping off a 2-story dive board.
Yeah, and they had a water slide.
And they had a trampoline that didn't bounce.
And Lucy and I did some kayaking. And it was basically like a few hours of just funorama on this boat in Waikiki harbor area. We were really hoping to see some turtles.
Well,
Which
at the beginning, according to some people, I didn't get to see it personally. Mom, did you?
I didn't. There was a turtle spotted.
But producer Ben got to see it from a distance.
And I did get to see a turtle when we came back.
Yeah, so when we came back, at the edge of the harbor, there was a young turtle that was probably around a year old.
Yeah, and these are sea turtles, so
Yeah,
they're pretty
sea
big.
turtles.
So that wraps up our activities, and so we're now ready for our final category.
Food critic.
Woo! Okay, well, why don't we start off with something that we enjoyed? We talked about in the last episode. We got to enjoy some shaved ice while we were on the North Shore again. We had hoped to go to Matsumoto's, which I had remembered when I was there a while ago. But what was wrong with it?
The line was insanely long, but luckily for us, producer Ben found another place called Aoki's, and it is another shaved ice place that is insanely ginormous thing.
Yeah, it was huge.
shaved ice.
It was absolutely huge.
It was great though.
Like, I think you had like all of the sugar you're supposed to have like in a week in that one shaved ice.
2 or 3 days actually, but like.
But it was a lot of fun, and it was half the price as Waikiki as well. So
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about a couple other foods. I've been asked to speak about banana bread because we've had some banana bread while we're here. What we've learned about Hawaiian banana bread is that the bananas that grow on Hawaii are called apple bananas, and they taste a little bit different, although I can't tell that much, and it's popular. So we have a lot of banana bread while we're here.
So one thing that I regret not choosing for our last episode, for Food Critic, is pineapple. So pineapple was probably introduced in the early 1800s by Spanish sailors who came to Hawaii. It didn't exactly originate in Hawaii. It actually came from South America to Hawaii, and basically they started planting it here, and Hawaii became famous for having tons of pineapples. As you know, you probably know of Dole for making pineapple plantation. I have to say, pineapple is probably one of my favorite fruits.
Yeah. We did have a chance to visit the Dole plantation, but we decided not to. But we still decided to learn a little bit about Dole's role in pineapple. And basically, for a while, like in the 1930s, they were producing like almost all of the world's pineapples. But as the world later became more globalized, we get pineapples from other countries like Thailand and the Philippines. And they even said that in the early 2000s, they shut down the canning plant here in Hawaii. But we've enjoyed many, many pineapples on this trip.
Yes.
One thing that's really weird, though, is that pineapples are more expensive in Hawaii than they are at home.
Very expensive.
Dad's been buying them. How much are they, Dad?
I would say it depends where we were, but $6, $7, $8, and we probably pay less for that in town. Yeah.
How much do you think we paid for in town?
In Urbana, I don't know, $3, $4, $5, something like that. And the key thing is, like, a lot of the pineapples we're buying here in Hawaii were not made in Hawaii.
Yeah,
because they're importing them because it costs much more to produce here now than other parts of the world with lower wages and stuff.
So I think we're going to wrap up this episode, right? Let's find out what the answers are for oldest to newest.
All right, so here are the answers to oldest and newest. So we can decide whether it was cheating that they got out the map, but the fact that they were thinking about there's a trajectory through which the Polynesians sailed and settled different islands. I'll say one thing you got a little wrong there is New Zealand was not where they started. New Guinea was where they started. New Zealand is actually one of the latest places they went.
Oh.
However, they started from New Guinea going in Southeast Asia into those close islands. Tonga is one of those close islands, which we think humans probably first arrived in Tonga in 900 BC, right? And so they're around there for a long time, and according to the most recent scholarship, because this has changed over time, I used the sources, this book, Sea Peoples, I read before the trip. It's probably even more recent than we thought 50 years ago. Tahiti was probably settled in 1000 Common Era, and then Hawaii was settled
1200
in 1200. So the answer was Tonga. Tahiti, Hawaii. Is that what you guessed?
Got it. Woo!
Yep, they got it right. So very good job.
We're going to wrap up today's episode. Thanks for having me, Theo.
And thank you for listening. This is Theo Sheplin left, Melissa Sheplin, and Lucy Sheplin left saying bye.
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 Aloha.
Aloha.
Lucy, could you sing our theme song?
Family tour guide to the world. Hey.
Now, one thing that we want to show you is what it sounds like at night. Every single time that we try to go to sleep. I like to say it's not a very pleasant voice.
And that sound you just heard are the sounds of frogs here in the Big Island.
I actually think it sounds really nice. I like going to bed to the sound
Me
of
too.
the frogs, yeah.
I liked it. And
Oh, you're not kids.
I will say that we've been pretty tired at the end of every single day. So
Fair.
it's kind of like a white noise machine. But frog noise.